For most of modern history, mapping the human mind has been a slow, heavily physical process. To generate statistically significant data, empirical research requires massive scale. You need thousands of bodies in a room, filling out bubble sheets and taking cognitive tests. Recruiting, observing, and analyzing real people in a lab setting burns through immense amounts of time and funding. Today, modern researchers are bypassing that friction. Large language models are increasingly used in place of real human subjects to generate instant, cost-free digital twins. By feeding the model specific demographic parameters, like asking it to act as a 32-year-old female graduate, scientists can simulate incredibly precise personas. Tech companies and marketers have aggressively adopted this method to test product reactions and run market simulations without ever talking to a real person. Relying on machines to simulate humanity produces a distorted funhouse reflection, one that breaks the underlying mathematics of behavioral science. The Silicon Philosophers study tested this by asking models deep, open-ended questions to measure the variance of human opinions. This scatterplot shows the results from real people. As you can see, human beings disagree with each other. Our responses are messy and wildly scattered across the grid. Then, the researchers posed the exact same philosophical questions to the AI. Instead of mapping the real spread of human thought, the model collapses those diverse data points into a single dense cluster. The model filters out individual disagreement in favor of a stereotyped average, effectively providing what it calculates a human should say rather than what people actually do say. Another test looked at how we share information online, specifically measuring what happens when subjects are nudged to prioritize accuracy before posting an article. When real people receive this nudge, they still share fake news if the content is highly entertaining. We are highly social, occasionally irrational creatures. When the AI receives the exact same accuracy nudge, the outcome looks entirely different. This flowchart visualizes the machine's strict logic. The AI acts as a perfectly rigid agent, entirely ignoring the social joy of entertainment to strictly enforce the accuracy rule. Because the machine cannot experience social temptation, it fails to simulate complex human negotiations, rendering it useless in unpredictable game theory scenarios, like the classic 11-20 money request game. We see a similar failure in affective priming, a testing technique where subjects write about an emotion, like gratitude, to see how it shifts their later behavior. For a real human, recalling a deeply grateful memory actually alters their psychological state. That lived experience subtly shades their future answers. When researchers feed the AI that same gratitude prompt, we see what is known as the affective gap. These two bar charts show the difference in reactions. The human data shifts subtly, but the AI massively overcorrects. It mathematically imitates affective language without possessing any actual emotional complexity. The system successfully maps the statistical probability of emotional words, but it remains completely detached from the lived experience of feeling. It knows the lyrics, but not the music. This creates a methodological crisis. Researchers are currently using a flawed validate then simulate workflow to justify replacing human subjects. Relying on this method to predict human behavior risks building products, algorithms, and public policies optimized for emotionless machines. A more sound alternative is the simulate then validate model, which requires testing against a human dataset after the initial LLM piloting phase. This establishes a clear boundary for behavioral science. AI is incredibly useful for designing a survey or refining a hypothesis, but real humans must always take the test. For decades, behavioral science has treated human variance, error, and irrationality as negative variables, noise that needs to be controlled. But contrasting the cold output of silicon subjects with the rich, unpredictable reality of human group dynamics, you see the value of that noise. Watching an algorithm fail to perfectly replicate us reveals a profound truth about our own nature. Our deep disagreements, emotional biases, and messy unpredictability remain the defining features of human consciousness.